Every time you walk into a supermarket, have you ever wondered, how can fruits and vegetables that come from farms thousands of kilometers away, even from across the Pacific Ocean, still appear on the shelves as fresh as if they were just harvested? Every year, thousands of modern transport vehicles tirelessly move across the global agricultural logistics network, carrying tens of billions of tons of produce from farms to the tables of millions of families. Yet behind these massive journeys lies a daunting challenge for both farmers and transport companies: how to deliver each product to consumers in a state that is intact, safe, and retains its original quality. Today, join us as we follow these remarkable journeys, where technology, intelligence, and precision are quietly redefining the way the world preserves and transports life itself, from farm to table. In Washington, where the apple season runs from August to November, the most critical part of the harvest isn't the picking itself. It's moving 400-kilogram bins out of the orchard as quickly and cleanly as possible. That's why the Krolik bin handling system has become the new standard in high-density orchards. The system's logic is simple but remarkably effective. It uses two independent rail levels running along each tree row. When a full bin reaches the transfer point, the upper level moves it out of the row through a designated exit. At the same time, the lower level pushes an empty bin into the exact spot that just opened. The whole exchange takes only seconds. No forklifts, no waiting, no picker forced to pause mid-task. This configuration solves a major bottleneck in modern apple production: tight row spacing, often just 3 meters, combined with large, continuous acreage stretching for hundreds of hectares. Minimizing machine movement and bin handling also reduces impact on the fruit, helping maintain the crispness and firmness that are easily lost when bins are jolted around. Overall, the system doesn't just speed up transport, it improves fruit quality, a small mechanical insight, but one that reshapes the entire rhythm of the harvest. After leaving the tree rows, the full bins are loaded onto specialized trucks and taken to a collection and pre-processing facility, located about 3 to 5 kilometers from the orchard. This short distance is intentional. It minimizes the time apples spend outside controlled conditions, reducing bruising and preserving firmness before they enter the sorting line. At the facility, each bin is quickly cooled, washed, and quality checked before moving on to cold storage or the packing plant. Keeping this initial transport segment short is a key factor in preserving the fruit's overall quality. In Queensland, home to some of the largest continuous sugarcane fields in the world, cane trains run day and night from June until the end of the year. This rail network stretches more than 4,000 kilometers, linking hundreds of farms to more than a dozen coastal sugar mills. What's interesting is that despite the length of these trains, the locomotives are small and lightweight, specially designed to run on tracks less than 2 feet wide. Each train can haul up to 800 tons of sugarcane, moving steadily through the fields to collect the entire harvest of the region. This system saves fuel, reduces road congestion, and forms the backbone of Australia's sugar industry, one of the few places in the world where agricultural railways still operate at such scale. For the people of Queensland, the sound of a cane train's whistle signals not just a busy harvest season, but the rhythm of an entire economy in motion. In greenhouse farms growing tomatoes, strawberries, or cucumbers, the job of moving produce from the crop rows to the processing area is handled by specialized electric tow tractors. They're small, agile, and able to operate in aisles less than 1 meter wide, spaces where any larger vehicle would be useless. Many farms still use electric tow tractors with drivers, pulling long trains of full harvest crates. But in more advanced greenhouses, you'll see autonomous units that follow magnetic sensors or camera guidance, transporting produce to the packing area automatically. What surprises most people is that an autonomous tractor like this costs between $8,000 and $20,000 USD, depending on the level of automation. It's expensive, but it cuts nearly 70% of manual lifting and carrying, and it shortens transport time, a critical factor in keeping delicate crops like strawberries or tomatoes fresh, firm, and full of flavor. In Ecuador, where more than 30% of the world's exported bananas originate, plantations handle massive daily volumes across challenging terrain. To keep produce moving smoothly between plots that can be a kilometer apart, growers rely on a system few people expect: aerial cableways designed specifically for bananas. These lines are built on steel towers about 3 to 4 meters tall, running straight through the fields, without needing any road underneath. Banana bunches are hooked onto trolleys fitted with low-friction bearings, allowing them to glide along the cable with remarkable stability. This setup minimizes vibration, a critical factor in maintaining peel quality before the fruit enters the grading line. On sections with natural elevation drop, the system uses gravity to move the load. On flatter stretches, low-power electric motors provide gentle assistance to keep the pace steady with almost no energy cost. As a result, a single cable line can transport bananas continuously for hours without interruption. A simple piece of engineering, yet one that sustains the entire flow of production across vast tropical plantations. Seen from a distance, cotton fields in the US look as if someone scattered giant marshmallows across the landscape. In reality, they're the work of next-generation harvesters, machines that pick, clean, and compress the cotton into cylindrical modules more than 2 meters long, wrapped tightly in UV-resistant film. They may look fluffy, but each marshmallow weighs up to 2 tons. Once the machine drops a module onto the ground, the transport race begins. Tractors equipped with curved lifting arms scoop up each cotton roll and raise it effortlessly. The arms match the module's rounded shape, so even when driving over soft soil, the module keeps its perfect compression. Crucial, because even a small deformation can cause problems later on the ginning line. The modules are loaded onto specialized trailers, where the operator lines them up in long rows. A single run can carry 8 to 10 of these massive rolls. Their destination is a staging yard, a few kilometers from the field. There, hundreds of modules sit in perfectly straight rows, waiting to enter the gin. The bright yellow wrap protects them from rain, dust, and harsh sun, while keeping the fibers inside clean and intact. When harvest season arrives, the rice paddies come alive with activity. Freshly cut rice is loaded onto trucks or small barges and transported straight to the milling facilities, where the husk is removed, the grains are cleaned, and the final white rice is produced. From there, the rice is bagged, inspected, and moved to the port for the next and biggest stage of its journey. It's at the port that the true scale of the rice export industry is revealed. Massive cargo ships, bulk carriers, can hold up to 60,000 tons of rice, nearly 3 million bags, enough to feed a large city for months. When the ship docks, towering cranes lift bundles weighing several tons and lower them into cavernous cargo holds as wide as indoor arenas. On the ground, teams of workers operate non-stop, arranging, securing, and monitoring moisture levels to ensure every bag stays safe throughout the long voyage across the ocean. From the paddies to the open sea, this entire journey shows one thing clearly: rice is not just food, it's an economic ambassador, carefully handled at every step before it leaves Asia for the world. No longer confined to the ground, modern agriculture has truly taken to the skies. For fresh flowers, especially roses, tulips, and other varieties with a shelf life measured in days, air freight is the only profitable way to move them across continents. Each year, more than 1 billion stems are flown into the United States, with demand peaking around Valentine's Day, when roses from the Andes and tulips from Kenya, Ethiopia, or the Netherlands all head for the same destination. Right after harvest, the flowers are pre-chilled, sorted, and packed into ventilated cardboard boxes that preserve moisture while allowing the blooms to breathe naturally during transit. At the airport, the ground crew races against the clock. They wrap each pallet in specialized polyester netting, strong enough to secure around 300 flower boxes per load, then push them into the cavernous cargo holds of freighter aircraft. Throughout the journey, tens of tons of flowers are kept cold by a tightly controlled climate system and temperature sensors. Thanks to this stability, even though air freight costs 5 to 6 times more than sea freight, the loss rate from wilting, bruising, or stem rot is dramatically lower. Because of these high-speed flights, within just 48 hours of leaving the greenhouse, vibrant red roses and colorful tulips appear on store shelves across the United States, ready to become Valentine's gifts for millions. Meanwhile, on the other side of the globe, Kenya is witnessing a remarkable leap in its avocado exports. In the past, the country could ship only to markets less than 10 days away by sea. But now, thanks to tens of thousands of massive refrigerated containers, Kenyan avocados can travel 25 days to Europe and even 40 days to Russia, while still arriving fresh, firm, and perfectly green. Right after harvest, the still hard avocados are washed, coated with a protective layer of wax, packed into ventilated cartons, stacked onto specialized pallets, and loaded onto refrigerated trucks bound for the port. There, they move directly into the ship's cold storage hold, where temperature and humidity are controlled with precision down to the degree. This cold chain must remain unbroken from the packing house all the way until the ship docks in the importing country, because even a few hours of interruption can cause the fruit to ripen prematurely, turn brown inside, or suffer internal bruising. After harvest, corn isn't fed to cattle right away. Out in the field, forage harvesters chop the whole plants into small pieces and blow them into specialized wagons or dump trucks. These trucks have high sides, hydraulic floors, and mesh guards to keep the chopped corn fluffy and aerated during transport. From the field, they run continuously to the silage pit a few hundred meters to several kilometers away, ensuring the material reaches the bunker within an hour, a crucial window to preserve moisture and the natural sugars that determine silage quality. At the silage site, the chopped corn is spread into thick layers, and heavy packing tractors begin driving back and forth, compressing every layer to remove as much air as possible. Once the bunker is full, the entire pile is covered with thick plastic film, reinforced with protective mesh, and weighted down with tires or sandbags to keep it airtight. In this oxygen-free environment, lactic acid bacteria get to work, converting the plant's natural sugars into lactic acid. This acid stabilizes the feed, preventing mold, spoilage, and nutrient loss, a silent but essential fermentation process that defines the value of the final feed. After about 40 to 60 days, the silage reaches its ideal sweet-tart balance. Farmers open only the exposed face of the bunker, slicing it cleanly to maintain airtightness for the rest, then mix the silage with hay, minerals, and protein supplements. Thanks to this fermented layer, cattle receive a steady, energy-rich feed supply throughout the entire year. Every year, more than 3,000 serious accidents occur in global timber transport, most of them on steep, narrow, muddy forestry roads where heavily loaded trucks must battle icy slopes or deep ruts right in the peak logging season. Just one tire slip or a turn taken a few degrees offline can send tens of tons of logs collapsing, causing hundreds of thousands of dollars in losses and choking the entire supply chain. Yet the risks hadn't slowed the industry. Over 1.5 billion cubic meters of timber are transported worldwide each year, the lifeblood of construction, furniture, paper, and biomass energy. Modern log trucks are now true two-in-one machines, capable of both collecting and transporting wood. Their hydraulic cranes, equipped with force and torque sensors, can grip 10 to 15 logs at a time, rotate 360 degrees, and stack them neatly onto the trailer. A fully loaded trip typically weighs around 45 tons, and once the load reaches capacity, the truck's automated system activates, locking the stakes, tightening steel straps, and issuing a safety signal before the vehicle heads onto the road. The pomegranate harvest season usually begins in September, when the fruits ripen into glossy crimson jewels hanging from the branches. In renowned growing regions like India and Afghanistan, each tree can yield up to 200 fruits, with an average output of over 25 tons per hectare. Harvesting is done entirely by hand to avoid cracking the delicate skin or bruising the seeds. Workers use sharp pruning shears, cutting only the stem, never twisting or pulling to keep the fruit fresh and beautiful. Ripeness is determined mainly by the color of the rind and the sound it makes when tapped. A perfectly ripe pomegranate shows a deep red hue with a slight golden tint near the stem, a smooth surface, and subtle ridge lines. When tapped lightly, it produces a low, resonant tone with a soft echo, while unripe ones sound dull and flat. Experienced pickers can tell the difference after just a few taps, an instinct honed through years of practice, where the human ear and hand become the most precise ripeness sensors technology has yet to replicate. Fruits that pass inspection are carefully placed into baskets lined with soft fibers, then quickly moved to shaded areas to prevent cracking from heat shock. Finally, they are washed, graded, and packed for export, most destined for Europe, where over 300,000 tons are consumed each year. Across the endless orange groves of Florida, the state that produces over 70% of America's oranges, this integrated self-propelled harvester doesn't replace human labor entirely, but it drastically reduces the need for seasonal workers. Its shaking mechanism is precisely calibrated to match the resonant frequency of the tree trunk, strong enough to detach the fruit without damaging the branches or bruising the peel. Two hydraulic arms clamp onto the trunk, vibrating nearly 500 times per minute, and within seconds, hundreds of oranges drop onto the conveyor belt below. An onboard accelerometer adjusts the shaking intensity in real time based on the trunk's size and moisture level. Just behind, a vacuum conveyor system collects the fallen oranges immediately, using low-pressure air tubes to slow their fall and minimize bruising, keeping the fruit fresh for industrial processing. To achieve such massive efficiency, each grove must invest hundreds of thousands of dollars per machine. Yet this is an inevitable evolution in industrial orange harvesting, especially in Florida, where over 90% of the crop is destined for juice production, a market that values volume and consistency over flawless appearance. Across the sunlit chicory fields of northern France, the grim beet harvester moves steadily forward, marking the start of the root harvest season. At the front, a set of counter-rotating steel discs slices cleanly through the thick green foliage, exposing the base of each plant. Immediately behind, the dual V-shaped lifting system closes gently around the stems, pulling the entire root from the soil in one smooth, fluid motion. The lifted chicory is carried along a spiral conveyor and vibrating mesh, which shake off the clinging soil before dropping the roots neatly into the rear holding tank. Under the bright autumn sun, the machine glides across the field with rhythmic precision, leaving behind soft, even furrows that stretch straight and perfect to the horizon. After harvesting, the chicory roots are transported to specialized indoor endive growing facilities, where every condition, from light and humidity to temperature, is carefully controlled. There, the roots are placed upright in hydroponic trays, with their tips facing upward and roots downward, nourished by a nutrient-rich solution maintained at around 18 degrees Celsius in total darkness. This absence of light prevents chlorophyll formation, giving endive its signature ivory white color. After about 1 month, when the endive buds grow to around 20 centimeters, the harvest begins. Workers gently lift the chicory roots from the hydroponic trays and place them into a root-cutting machine. The machine automatically holds the base in place and slices off the roots cleanly, leaving only the tender ivory buds. Once separated, workers inspect each head by hand, ensuring no bruised leaves or broken ticks. The finest endives, tight, smooth, and pale with a slight yellow tint, are then arranged carefully into trays and moved to cooling rooms at 2 to 3 degrees Celsius to maintain crispness and freshness. Each processing line can handle thousands of endives per hour, combining mechanical precision with human craftsmanship, completing the transformation from raw chicory roots into one of Europe's most delicate and refined vegetables. For shiitake mushroom growers, the harvesting stage is the critical final step, where up to 70% of the product's market value is determined by the integrity of the mushroom cap. Even today, the process remains entirely manual. Harvesters grip the stem firmly and twist it gently in the opposite direction of its growth, applying just enough force for the whole stem to detach from the substrate without tearing the flesh or cracking the cap. A premium shiitake must have a rounded, dry cap and a firm stem, standards that ensure not only commercial quality, but also preserve freshness and the deep umami flavor, which concentrates mainly in the cap. After picking, the substrate blocks are kept moist and reused after about 14 days, each yielding 3 to 4 harvest cycles before nutrients are depleted. An average farm in South Korea can earn around $150,000 annually, a profit margin high enough to drive continued investment and expansion toward export markets. Yet, despite technological progress, human hands remain irreplaceable in this delicate chain, transforming discarded oak sawdust into one of the world's most prized mushrooms, renowned for its thick caps, rich aroma, and unmatched umami depth. Modern corn harvesters typically operate in 2 main stages, engineered to handle massive volumes while preserving grain quality. The first stage begins with the corn header, where rows of counter-rotating blades glide just above the ground, cutting the stalks and feeding each corn plant into the processing unit. Immediately, roller strippers grip the stems, cleanly removing the ears while the stalks, leaves, and husks are shredded and returned to the field as natural fertilizer, leaving behind only bare stalks and loosened, aerated soil. Next, the combine corn harvester, the all-in-one powerhouse, takes over. The ears are fed into a centrifugal threshing system, where high-speed rotating teeth strip kernels from the cobs in seconds. Instead of relying solely on vibrating sieves, many modern machines now use a cyclone airflow system that blows away husks, cobs, and debris, producing kernels that are up to 98% clean, requiring almost no further screening. The golden grains are then conveyed into a large rear hopper, ready to be unloaded directly into waiting trucks. With its blend of mechanical precision and aerodynamic innovation, this streamlined process represents one of the most impressive feats of agricultural engineering in the 21st century. In the world of agriculture, there is one remarkable plant, often called the fastest growing crop on Earth. It takes only a few days from seed to harvest: bean sprouts. Just 5 days after mung beans are soaked and kept in a humid, dark environment, the white, tender shoots begin to sprout all at once, forming dense layers that seem to grow almost overnight. The harvesting process begins when the sprouts reach the ideal height. Growers simply pour the entire tray of cultivated sprouts into a large water basin, where an automated washing line takes over. A circulating water system gently separates the bean husks and fine roots, while the cool water flow keeps the sprouts white, crisp, and unbroken. Once cleaned, the sprouts move onto a draining conveyor belt, which removes excess moisture before transferring them directly to the packaging area. There, workers perform a quick quality check and seal the packages immediately, without any intermediate steps. The entire cycle, from seeding to packaging, takes less than a week, making bean sprouts one of the most efficient and naturally rapid foods humans have ever cultivated. In Japan, sea grape farms are often found along the bays and shallow coastal waters around Okinawa, where the seawater is crystal clear and the temperature stays steady at around 25 degrees Celsius. The sea grapes are fixed onto polymer nets or elastic ropes stretched just below the surface, allowing them to anchor firmly, grow evenly, and be harvested multiple times without replanting. After about a month, when the strands have thickened and the tiny green grapes are plump and round, farmers either dive down or use small boats to pull each cultivation net up to shore. They work slowly, so the water can drain and the delicate clusters aren't damaged. The nets are set at an angle to dry briefly before being moved straight to the processing area. Everything must be done quickly, as sea grapes retain their freshness and crisp texture for only a few hours after harvest. When sea grapes were introduced to Southeast Asia, they were cultivated using unique and locally adapted methods that reflect the region's creativity and resourcefulness. Here, most small-scale farmers use the bottom planting method, spreading sea grape seedlings across shallow seawater ponds, only 40 to 60 centimeters deep. After about 1 to 2 months, the clusters reach their ideal harvest size. Because they cannot step directly on the delicate plants, farmers push off from the pond's edge and lie face down on floating rafts made of foam or composite plastic, wrapped in nylon mesh, distributing their weight evenly and allowing them to move smoothly across the surface. Wearing single-lens diving goggles with magnification, they can clearly see each branch beneath the water and hold their breath just long enough to work quickly. During harvest, they wear fabric gloves with just the right texture to twist the stems gently, detaching each cluster without bursting the fragile green pearls. Also known as green caviar, sea grapes have a light, briny taste with a hint of natural sweetness. When eaten, each tiny bead pops crisply in the mouth, offering a refreshing burst of ocean flavor. Though still unfamiliar to many Americans, sea grapes are a beloved food in Japan and across Asia. Valued as a health treasure from the sea, rich in minerals, omega-3s, and antioxidants that purify the body and nourish the skin. You may know that salt is usually produced in hot, dry climates, but there's one exceptional kind that forms in the Arctic cold, when nothing seems like it could crystallize at all. In Iceland, salt isn't harvested from sun-scorched coastal flats like in the tropics, but from seawater vapor rising amid the frigid 5 to 10 degrees Celsius air and North Atlantic winds. The process begins when pristine seawater from Breiðafjörður Bay is pumped into evaporation systems powered by geothermal energy, immense natural heat drawn from deep within the earth. Under this steady warmth, the water gradually evaporates, leaving behind fine white salt crystals, rich in over 80 trace minerals. Once the perfect crystal form appears, the salt is hand-skimmed using wooden tools, then dried slowly in enclosed rooms to preserve its natural flake structure. Each grade of Icelandic salt is a meeting of sea, fire, and ice, crisp, delicate, and remarkably pure. It's more than just a seasoning. It's a work of Arctic nature, crystallized from raw elemental energy and the careful hands of its makers. Every summer in sunny California, vast fig orchards grow heavy with glossy, deep purple fruit, all harvested entirely by hand. For low branches, pickers gently twist the stem between thumb and forefinger, allowing the fig to detach naturally without tearing its delicate skin. For fruit higher up, they use picking poles. A light tap on the branch is enough for fully ripe figs to drop softly onto canvas sheets spread below, before being gathered into baskets. From there, the figs are chilled within 2 hours of harvest to preserve their juiciness, honeyed sweetness, and signature aroma, ready to supply fine dining restaurants and gourmet brands around the world. In North Carolina, the largest tobacco-growing region in the United States, the days of dozens of workers bending over to cut each leaf by hand are long gone. Now, a single dicloat harvester rolling through the field sets the entire crop in motion with mechanical precision. One machine can maneuver smoothly between 2 dense rows while operating with accuracy down to each individual leaf. At the front, hydraulic pressure sensing clamps automatically detect the leaf's ripeness and softness, gently detaching it from the stem without even shaking the plant. Inside, a variable pressure airflow system works in tandem with a dual dust filtration chamber, continuously cleaning and pre-sorting the harvest. The result: each leaf remains golden, intact, and perfectly moist, ready for the signature flue curing process that defines premium tobacco. This technology not only cuts labor costs by more than 60%, but also ensures that every leaf is uniform, clean, and export grade, proving that mechanization doesn't just replace human labor, it elevates the quality and precision of the entire industry. In the United States, the seaweed harvest season begins when the underwater kelp forests turn a deep amber brown, the sign that the blades have thickened and reached peak nutritional value. Spring comes alive as flat-deck, low-hulled boats equipped with hydraulic winches and specialized spool rollers set out across the cold Atlantic. Upon reaching the cultivation lines, workers secure their gear to the main polypropylene rope, the backbone of the sea farm, suspended about 1 meter below the surface, where the kelp absorbs maximum sunlight without getting sunburned. With a single pull of the hydraulic lever, the spools begin to rotate, hauling up hundreds of meters of golden brown kelp onto the deck. From that moment, it becomes a race against time. Each frond must be cleaned, chilled, and transported ashore within 6 hours, before oxidation darkens the blades, softens their texture, and robs them of their premium commercial value. The prickly pear cactus, a proud symbol of Mexico's semi-arid landscapes, is a master of drought survival, yet also among the most challenging fruits to harvest on Earth. By late summer, when the fruit turns a brilliant orange-red and the spines begin to dry and stiffen, pickers must don thick jackets, heavy gloves, and full-face coverings to collect the sweetest fruit before the skins split or birds claim them first. The golden window for harvesting lasts only 4 to 6 weeks, but each fruit bristles with hundreds of tiny barbed spines, called glochids, capable of piercing gloves and severely irritating the skin. For that reason, harvesters use long metal tongs to snip each stem without ever touching the surface, careful not to bruise the delicate skin or release the milky sap that can dehydrate the plant and damage its tissue, preventing it from bearing fruit in the next season. Even a single cassava root can be dangerous if not harvested properly. When a hoe or blade cuts into the outer layer containing cyanogenic glycosides, the sap can release hydrocyanic acid, a toxin capable of causing poisoning within minutes. Despite the risk, manual harvesting is still common on small farms. Farmers rely on experience to judge ripeness, then use a machete or hand axe to cut around the base and pull each root carefully, avoiding cracks that cause oxidation and reduce quality. But the process is slow and exhausting. Cassava has woody stems and deep, clinging roots, demanding strength and precision. Heavy reliance on manual labor keeps costs high and yields low, making large-scale production a constant struggle between human effort and the soil itself. In regions of intensive cultivation, like Thailand, which supplies more than 30 million tons of cassava roots each year, the harvest process has been almost completely automated. Modern cassava harvesters can cut stems, dig roots, and collect the tubers in a single pass. Thanks to depth sensors and self-adjusting hydraulic systems, the machines lift the roots intact, without rupturing the cyanide-bearing sap layer, boosting productivity to 2 to 3 tons per hour. Though the initial investment is high, the speed, safety, and superior efficiency of these machines have made them the key to turning cassava into a strategic global crop for starch, ethanol, and food production. After nearly 10 months underground, when the stalks and leaves turn yellow and a faint spicy scent drifts through the air, Shandong Province, China's largest ginger-growing region, enters its busiest season of the year. Because ginger roots branch in complex clusters, farmers use small hand hoes to loosen the soil around each plant, carefully cutting in a circle around the rhizome to avoid breaking any offshoots. Once lifted from the earth, the clumps are shaken clean and neatly stacked in the shade to retain moisture and prevent dehydration. From there, trucks loaded with hundreds of tons of fresh ginger line up and roll out of the fields, carrying not just a crop, but the livelihood of tens of thousands of Shandong farmers who have dedicated their lives to this remarkable root. New Holland broad harvesters are designed specifically for vine crops with delicate berry-like fruit, adaptable simply by changing the shaking head and collection trays. With a high clearance frame and an open working bay, these machines can weave effortlessly through perfectly aligned vineyard rows, even maintaining stability on steep slopes. Instead of cutting, the harvester vibrates at 400 to 500 cycles per minute, powered by a 175 horsepower engine, strong enough to detach each ripe grape from its stem, yet gentle enough to preserve the thin skin intact. Inside, soft roller conveyors and variable pressure air blowers act as a living filtration system, removing leaves, stems, and dust without bruising the fruit. A single unit can harvest over 20 tons of grapes per hour, the equivalent of 40 manual pickers. This mechanization embodies the power of speed and scale. A complete opposite of hand-picking, yet forms the backbone of global production for everyday wines and industrial-grade juice. But for premium grape varieties destined for fine wine production and fresh export, harvesting must still be done entirely by hand. In California, when the grape clusters turn a deep violet hue and become coated with a natural powdery bloom, hundreds of workers spread across the vineyards, armed with small, razor-sharp shears to cut each bunch with precision. Once detached from the vine, every cluster is inspected for skin integrity and potential spoilage before being gently placed into shallow, padded trays to prevent bruising. Thanks to this meticulous care, California continues to produce over 6 million tons of fresh grapes each year, forming the backbone of both its premium wine industry and the global market for high-quality table grapes. Lychee is one of the most delicate fruits to harvest. Delay the picking by just 2 or 3 days, and the skin darkens while the flesh softens as respiration rapidly increases. That's why, when the peel shifts from green to red, growers in the southern orchards must begin picking immediately. In their hands, a small pruning shear becomes an essential tool, sharp enough to cut through semi-woody branches, yet precise enough not to bruise the stem. Each cluster must also be harvested according to export standards, keeping the 2-inch stem to reduce moisture loss, prevent bruising, and maintain the fruit's vibrant red color during long-distance transport. A bountiful lychee season brings not only the heat and energy of the tropics, but also the rhythm of a thriving trade. Thousands of motorbikes loaded with fresh lychees stream toward wholesale markets, fueling an industry projected to surpass $9 billion within the next 3 years. Every year, around 6,000 combine harvesters are sold across the United States to serve small seed crops such as sesame, sunflower, and soybeans. Originally designed for taller plants about 1 to 1.5 meters high, these machines must be extensively recalibrated when used for sesame, a much shorter, more fragile crop with pods that shatter easily. During this adjustment, the drum speed is reduced, the airflow softened, and the sieve trays padded, allowing the machine to gently separate the seeds instead of striking them. Thanks to this precision tuning, the harvester can collect nearly every sesame seed without cracking or oil loss, preserving the crop's natural oil content, the very element that gives sesame its high value in the global food and vegetable oil industries. Which fruit harvest impresses you the most? For me, it has to be the durian, often regarded as the hardest fruit in the world to harvest. On trees towering 10 to 15 meters high, pickers must climb skillfully through dense branches to reach each spiky fruit weighing up to 5 kilograms. Before cutting, they tap the shell with the handle of a knife. The sound, whether dull or deep, reveals its ripeness. Some even smell the stem, observe the color of the spikes, or feel the cracks around the stalk. Skills that take 3 to 5 years of experience to master. Once ripe, the picker cuts the stem and drops the fruit, while a partner below holds out a large jute sack to catch it. The sack isn't fully sealed. Its rough, breathable fibers allow the spikes to grip lightly, slowing the fall. Air escapes through the woven gaps, softening the impact and almost eliminating the force of the drop, ensuring the fruit lands safely without cracking or bruising. This method is fast and efficient, preserving the natural ripeness and aroma of the fruit. Yet it demands absolute precision and teamwork. A single mistake can send the durian crashing down, destroying it and endangering the catcher's life. It is precisely this delicate harvesting technique, combined with the fruit's high nutritional value hidden beneath its infamous scent, that makes the durian one of the most prized and extraordinary fruits of the tropics. Though it doesn't bring in massive profits like Brussels sprouts, the red radish remains a key player in the work calendar of California farmers. With just 30 days from sowing to harvest, they can quickly rotate their fields for the next crop. When harvest season arrives, each worker hand pulls the radishes, selects those meeting the standard 2-3 centimeter size, and ties them into bunches with twine to sell fresh. Afterwards, they carry heavy baskets filled with radishes to the trucks, which deliver them directly to farmers' markets across California. Inside the modern greenhouse, the red radish harvest is almost fully automated. The specialized machine moves slowly between perfectly aligned rows, using an optical sensor system and parallel grippers to lift clusters of radishes that meet the ideal size, each one handled within seconds. Once more than 10 roots are collected, the auto-bundling unit tightens a nylon band, forming neat, uniform bunches as if measured by machine. The system can process up to 1 ton of radishes per hour, reducing manual labor by more than 80%. Workers only need to place the finished bundles onto trays and move them to the washing and packaging area. In just a few minutes, hundreds of bright red, glossy, freshly harvested radish bunches are ready to leave the greenhouse. Let's take a quick trip to Japan, to Yamagata, where locals are preparing for a delicacy that comes only once a year, the snow-aged apple. At the end of December, when the Fuji apple season has just ended, the finest apples are hand-picked, placed in plastic baskets, and transported to the snow-covered mountains. There, farmers carefully stack them in layers and use snowblowers and excavators to bury them under 2 to 3 meters of snow, before securing the pile with windproof tarps. By late March to early April, as the snow begins to melt, the farmers return to uncover the white layer, dig out each tray of apples, and sort them by quality. These apples, which have hibernated for 3 months, are known as Yuki Ringo, snow apples, sold at a higher price and often used for fresh juice, premium desserts, or spring gift boxes. If you're an apple lover, this is one you'll never forget. The flavor of Yuki Ringo is refreshingly crisp, with a subtle honey-like aroma. Thanks to 3 months of winter sleep under deep snow, its acidity softens while natural sugars rise, creating a perfect balance between sweetness and tang. In the past, maple sap was collected in buckets hung directly on tree trunks. That method worked fine for a few dozen trees. But in Vermont, where more than 460,000 maple trees are tapped each year, everything had to evolve. From February to April, when warm days and freezing nights cause the sap to flow, workers drill small holes about 2 inches deep into the trunks. Each hole is placed around waist height or slightly above and shifted every year, allowing the trees to heal naturally, meaning a single maple can be tapped for decades without harm. Instead of dripping into buckets, the sap now runs through a network of tubing, stretching for tens of kilometers across the forest. Acting like an artificial circulatory system, small lines draw sap from each tree. Larger ones channel it to a central collection station, and vacuum pumps keep the flow steady, cutting manual labor by up to 80%. Because the tubing system is sealed, the sap never touches air, preserving its natural purity before it's filtered and boiled down into amber maple syrup, the sweet golden icon of North America, with grade A batches fetching as much as $250 per gallon. Highbush blueberry, the variety that makes up around 80% of the world's blueberry acreage and yield, is celebrated for its synchronized fruiting, making it ideal for large-scale mechanical harvesting. Every June, farmers bring out the Oxbow 7440, a true steel giant of the fields. From a distance, the machine resembles a mobile fortress. Its tunnel frame design allows the entire body to pass directly over tall rows of blueberry bushes without pruning or clearing space. Inside, a dual-shaft shaking system reads the plant's density and fruit ripeness, then automatically adjusts vibration frequency to maximize harvest efficiency while minimizing bruising. Thanks to its top-loader system with a capacity of up to 400 kilograms per bin, the machine can run continuously for hours without stopping to unload. A crucial advantage for large farms aiming to push productivity to the limit. Across the wild lowbush blueberry fields of Maine, the Grasshopper lowbush harvester stands out as a machine engineered specifically for this unique variety. Plants that grow no taller than an adult's knee, spreading close to the ground in dense, sprawling mats. At the front of the harvester, a mechanical comb assembly with dozens of fine steel tines is precisely calibrated to graze just the top layer of the blueberry bushes, where the ripest fruit is most abundant. A manual adjustment system allows the operator to fine-tune the comb's depth and angle to match the terrain, ensuring the tines sweep only the upper canopy. This prevents root damage or fruit bruising while preserving the lower layer of foliage for the next season's growth. This machine is a perfect example of how technology doesn't just help humans harvest sweetness, but also protects the living legacy of North America's oldest wild blueberry landscapes.